This training session will focus on customer service and communication. Customer service. First impressions. There's no second chance to make a first impression. People will forget what you said, forget what you did, but won't forget how you made them feel. Professionalism. It's extremely important to remember that you are now representing Shoreview Parks and Recreation and the City of Shoreview in all your interactions while you're here at work. If you are to go outside of work and you're to have your uniform on, you're still representing Shoreview. It's extremely important to remember that you are being a positive example to anybody that you come into contact with. That could be someone in the parking lot here or the parents of our participants, a building staff. You want to make sure that you're helpful and polite and courteous to those people and that you help them in any way that you possibly can if they have a question or need assistance. So if you don't know the answer, find it out. There are going to be times that people are going to ask you questions that you may not know the answer to. It's important to follow up with a coordinator or with Becky to find out that answer and make sure we get back to that person. Body language. A good portion of the message we're sending to people is often nonverbal. So the way that you stand, the way that your arms are placed, if they're crossed across your chest, the look on your face, your expressions, all of that is your body language that comes across, and it implies whether you are willing to help someone and you're eager and engaged, or if you appear to be disengaged and not enjoying what you're doing. It goes a long way with customer service. Gossip. Gossip is extremely negative, and you want to make sure that you are not gossiping with other employees, with parents, any of that, and that you're not doing any gossiping in front of participants, because that information is going to be heard, and gossip is often mistold the next time it comes around. And so gossip just is a negative thing that we want to make sure that we're avoiding. Attitude. There are going to be times when it could be very stressful at work. Working with kids at times can bring up things that you didn't expect. Most of the time it's very enjoyable and it's fun, but there are times that it can be stressful. So it's important to make sure you're positive. Have a positive attitude. You never know what is going to happen on a day-to-day basis, and it's easy to have something happen and assume that it's going to ruin your day, but that might not be the case. So make sure that you're looking at the positive side of things and that you are also focusing on the positive attributes of the participants as well, because the more positive you are, the more positive the environment with the kids will be, and they will respond to that with positivity as well. Can-do attitude. This goes for you and for the kids. We want to make sure that everyone tries and does their very best to do things and say, I can do it, not just assume that they can't. We're going to encourage kids to step outside their comfort zone, and just as we encourage staff sometimes to step outside their comfort zone and try new things. So just have a positive attitude about it. And finally here, attitude is contagious. Is yours worth catching? So just remember that other people notice your attitude and that it does affect those around you. And so if you're positive, that positivity can wear off on the other people around you. Ownership. Take ownership over the experience that every person you come into contact with has. You are a representation of Shoreview Parks and Recreation. We expect that you will take ownership of the things that come up, that if someone asks you a question, you will try to find out the answer. Please don't just pass things off and assume that someone else will take care of something or will help someone. That we expect that each employee will take responsibility and will step up when the situation arises. Quality service. Walt Disney Pictures. So when you think of Disney World, many of you have probably been to Disneyland or Disney World. They have very high expectations for quality service. And so with that, you think about the cleanliness factor, you think about customer service and how friendly all of the employees are. They're willing to help, go the extra mile. We want to follow that model and have those same standards here at Summer Discovery. We want everyone that comes into our facility and into our program to have a positive experience and enjoy their time and walk away with good memories from their Summer Discovery experience, just as you would from Disney. Exceed guest expectations by paying attention to the details. This is extremely important, just as Disney does. Participant communication. It's important to communicate age appropriately. So we have a wide variety of ages in our program, from 4 years old all the way up to potentially 14 years old. And how you communicate with a 4-year-old is different than a 14-year-old. Make sure that you adjust the words that you use, the tone that you use, and even the level physically that you're at when you communicate with those kids. Younger kids, it's important to get down to their level and communicate with them closer so that they understand and are looking at you and listening to you, whereas with a 14-year-old, it's a little bit different how you're communicating. Listen to them. Kids can tell whether or not you're listening, so if you're busy and someone asks you a question or wants to talk to you about something, either stop what you're doing and stop and look at them and make sure that you're giving them your attention, or tell them that you need a moment and that you'll have time for them, and then follow up with them so that they can tell you what it was they wanted to. Speak in a positive tone. Kids pick up on that negative tone, and the negative tone also just is a negative form of customer service. People that are walking through the building hear that negative tone. It just sets a bad example and a bad taste for summer discovery. So we want to make sure that you're speaking in a positive tone, an upbeat tone. There are times that you have to use a loud voice, but don't yell. And to me, yelling is using a loud voice in a negative tone. So using a loud voice in a positive tone is completely acceptable. Getting kids' attention. There are many ways to get kids' attention, and throughout training, we will talk more specifically about these, but it could be things like clapping, doing repeat after me phrases, actions, noisemakers, turning the lights off, having hand signals. There's a variety of different things you can do that don't include just shouting and yelling for the kids' attention. Giving directions. Make sure that you give directions step by step. If you go through the entire directions, you're going to lose kids. So it's important to go through one step at a time, especially when you're with the younger kids. The older kids might be able to handle more than one direction at a time, but the younger kids will not be able to. And they're just going to get frustrated and not be able to complete the project. So it's important that you make sure you go through step by step. Another thing with participant communication is sarcasm. Kids don't understand sarcasm, so make sure that you're not using sarcasm with them. There are times that there could be some teasing and some joking, but when you use sarcasm, kids don't understand and they take it to heart and they think it's true, and then they usually will go home and share that information with their parents, and the story usually ends up coming back to Becky about something that was said that wasn't meant in a specific way, but the kids didn't understand that. Parent communication. So greeting parents is extremely important, especially if you are an AM or a PM assistant for summer discovery, and then all of the staff with Adventure Quest, because you're all going to encounter parents. Make sure that you're greeting them, get to know them. If you don't know their name, introduce yourself and try to get to know them better, and they will feel more comfortable dropping their kids off with you the better that they get to know you. Make sure that you're sharing positive highlights from their child's day. They want to hear what their child did that day while they were with us, and they want to know some positive things that happened. This is especially important if you need to give some constructive feedback. So if for some reason there was maybe something negative that happened that day with their child, make sure you're including positive highlights as well and not just the negative comments. And work together with the parents. If we make sure that we're a team, we will help the child have a more positive experience while they're with us, and finding out things that the parents recommend or suggest or things that they do at home that will make it a better experience for everyone. So again, remember, greet participants with a smile and greet them by name. Be positive, find the answer and follow up, and first impressions are forever. Congratulations! You've completed this training session. Now you will also need to complete the quiz found in the comment section below. Thank you!